The governor hints at a tax increase, just how much it will cost us for Colorado to pay for the roads we need. A school district's plan for bilingual education comes up short on results and on bilingual teachers. A viewer questions why DACA recipients don't become American citizens. We'll explain. A busy street in Denver's closed down for construction even though the city doesn't have a construction company yet. We dig into the viewer mailbag all the way back to 2001. A guy pretty much predicted the exact mess at Mile High. Next.
The closest Governor Hicknelooper got to a big, bold proposal in his final State of the State is a hint at raising the gas tax. In Hickerloopian fashion, he didn't so much call for a gas tax hike to fund the roads, but he kind of nudged legislators in that direction. So that pointed our politics guy, Brandon Ritteman, in the direction of your wallet to verify the cost for the benefit of better roads.
This idea never made it out of the legislature last year, so the governor's trying one last time.
Coloradans deserve the opportunity to vote.
To vote on some kind of tax increase for roads. While hinting he's open to other plans, he only mentioned one tax by name.
We haven't increased the state gas tax in over 25 years. We've been driving on a flat tire for almost a quarter of a century. All the while, Utah raised their gas tax twice.
We verified that's true, but how much new gas tax would it take to do all the road construction the state thinks we need? Colorado's gas tax is 22 cents a gallon. In order to raise the $1 billion a year that CDOT says we need using nothing but the gas tax, you'd have to raise it more than 2.5 times to 56.9 cents. That's about $11 more to fill up a 20-gallon tank, which can really add up over a year. The average Coloradan drives more than 13,000 miles per year and buys 513 gallons of gas, meaning they get 26 miles a gallon. This remarkably average Coloradan would pay almost $180 more a year. But the car really matters. Give this person a brand new hybrid and they'd only pay about $90 more. Or give them an old pickup and they'd pay more than $300 a year in new taxes. And all of them look like suckers compared to an all-electric car. No gas tax if you don't burn any gas, which hints at a long-term problem with the gas tax. But in the short term, the problem is getting both parties to agree on a plan, whatever plan, that the voters might agree on too. For Next, I'm Brandon Ritteman.
This is not a correction so much as it is a contextualization of something that I said here last night. Democratic State Representative Steve Lebsock isn't going to caucus with Democrats in the legislature because they threw him under the bus when sexual harassment allegations surfaced. We knew that. What I did not know when I shared this story last night is that unlike in the U.S. Congress, leaving a state house caucus, it's basically meaningless. It's just for show. Lebsock's symbolic move is not going to have a political impact unless he also changes his voter registration. We checked. He's still a Democrat. And he wouldn't give us a straight answer when we asked if he's seriously considering becoming a Republican. That sure would stick it to the Democrats if they remove him from office, because then Republicans would pick the next rep from Thornton. Our next question comes from a guy named Alex on Twitter who asked us today, why have these DACA people who have been in the U.S. for years not applied for citizenship? Go ask and report back, please. So, Alex, about these DACA people, you can apply to change your immigration status at the age of 18. Children brought here illegally can't just pick up a crayon at school and fill out a naturalization application. Once they become adults, they first must apply to adjust their status. They have to go from unlawfully present to legally present, and that can be difficult because of how they came into the U.S., even if they were children. If they win the adjustment of status, at that point they can get a green card, and after 5 years with the green card, then they can apply for U.S. citizenship. Now listen, you can support or oppose the current immigration system all you want, but suggesting that it's as simple as just applying for citizenship, that's not accurate or fair. Boulder County District Attorney Stan Garnett is going to leave his job 2 years before the end of his term. He's going back to private practice and joining the same large law firm that just rehired Governor Hicknelooper's former chief of staff. Something tells me they get their calls returned around there, you know what I'm saying? Stan Garnett is going to stop by next tomorrow night to discuss his departure. So there's a debate in Commerce City that's happening in 2 languages simultaneously. Parents who disagree with the school superintendent over just how much their kids should be learning in Spanish. The superintendent told our Sonia Gutierrez that a bilingual pilot program is not getting results.
Adams 14 has more than 7,400 students and only 15% are passing. Something's not working here. Parent Maria Chavez agrees and District Superintendent Javier Abrego agrees.
Yes, I do.
Where they disagree is on the steps they need to take to get their students up to that grade level. Consider two tracks to the same direction: bilingual education and biliteracy education. One only focuses on the student learning English to succeed in their classes. That's federally required. The other does that too, but they also help students master all other subjects in Spanish. Maria's daughter goes to Monaco Elementary School, is in 3rd grade, and has been in the biliteracy program since kindergarten. I want my kids to be prepared for any job in both languages, she said. She would love for the biliteracy program to continue through 5th grade. Superintendent Abriego says he needs to see proof of it working and needs to find enough bilingual teachers.
We are having very difficult time finding teachers.
He's asking for the family's help to meet everyone's expectations.
We want them to keep those 2 languages, but some of that information as far as keeping language also has to come from the home.
For Next, I'm Sonia Gutierrez.
The superintendent fessed up they didn't do a great job listening to parents, and his staff told us they will provide some days when parents can meet one-on-one with the superintendent. That information is in Sonia's article on 9news.com. Park Avenue traffic downtown's bad enough with all the lanes, so having half the lanes closed with no construction in sight, that is suboptimal. It bothered a few Next viewers enough that they wrote us, so we would send Marshall Zellinger to play in traffic.
You know what we see a lot of on Park Avenue near Coors Field? Construction cones. You know what we don't see a lot of on Park Avenue near Coors Field? Actual construction. Deborah emailed this morning wondering why 2 lanes are closed on Park Avenue heading into downtown all week, but no one is working on the road. Doug wrote, there is literally nothing happening. No equipment, no one working it. Nothing. Why? We checked with Denver Public Works and found out you won't see any work being done on the surface. The city is preparing to reset at least 2 bearing plates, which support the girder that in turn supports the bridge deck. Those bearing plates are beneath the closed lanes, which are shut down out of precaution, and shut down indefinitely because the city doesn't yet have a contractor to do the fix. Stuck in traffic with you, I'm Marshall Zellinger.
The Sports Authority era at Mile High is over. Those Kansas City Chiefs red signs are finally stripped off the home of the Broncos. Those panels weigh a ton, an actual ton. Today we witnessed some heavy lifting.
When I heard it this morning, they told me they were beaming out these big old cranes and everything, and I just wanted to see, exactly how it was going to come down. They said it was in 10 separate pieces.
Right now, we're just taking down the second panel of the sign, 20 feet wide or 20 feet long, and each section weighs about 2,000 pounds.
I can't even see how the guys get up there. My name is Ray Herrera, and I've been a Broncos fan for since I was about 7 years old.
We're gonna flip the sign over on its side so it can be put on the trailer and hauled away. My name is Patrick Mansfield. I'm business development for Duffy Crane and Hauling. I've been working for Duffy for 2 weeks, but I've been in the crane industry for 10 years. It's a great way to get started. It's an honor to be out here working at Mile High Field for the Broncos.
Pretty secure. They're pretty secure in that little bucket there.
The biggest challenge really is just the long reach, because we have to sit down the bottom of these stairs. We're at a 130-foot radius. The sign's 135 feet high.
Maybe putting up with something new is bring a whole new era,
So I think this is going to be a fresh start to a new season for next year, and we're going to come back and compete for the Super Bowl.
From starting over, starting new.
Certainly can't hurt, right? That was the view through the lens of our photojournalist Mike Grady. So next viewer, Kathy Conrad, to answer the question that you emailed me about an hour ago. Yes, those panels will be recycled. They'll be taken apart for scrap materials. So would you believe it? A viewer predicted what would happen with that stadium 17 years ago, and he saved the receipts. And another throwback Thursday. Don't look now, but roller skating might be cool again as they dust off an old favorite in the suburbs. This this Throwback Thursday, let's head back out to the stadium formerly known as Sports Authority and Invesco and so on. Our Steve Stager looks at all the many names that have hung on the home of Denver's team.
It wasn't always mile high. In fact, it started as a landfill near the corner of 20th and Clay, a pile of buried trash that became a baseball field with 11,000 seats in 1948. They first named it Bears Stadium after the minor league Denver Bears, who first played there in August of 48. 11 years later, the owner of the Bears was awarded a charter franchise in the American Football League, the Denver Broncos. So they had to add seating to the baseball field. They started first on the south side, then they added to the east and west, before the city of Denver bought it in 1968. Its first name change happened then too. Bears Stadium officially became Mile High Stadium. The Bears shared the space with the Broncos. The Rockies played their first 2 seasons here too, before that building at 20th and Blake was fully operational. When the stadium closed in 2001, Mile High sat a total of 76,000 plus. The new stadium next door opened in 2001 with a new name, Invesco Field. It seats about 100 fewer people than the old Mile High. It held the Invesco name until 2011 when Sports Authority bought the rights. They went kerplunk in 2016 and missed a few payments, but the bankrupt company was immortalized on the side of that stadium until January 11th, 2018.
Witness history today as it became Spo-Auth Stadium. A shout out to the fine people at the Western History Department over at the Denver Library for helping Steve with that research. If you are a history geek like me, you gotta stop by the main branch and check out their collections. Really cool stuff. We are getting some feedback tonight from all the way back in 2001.
Glenn Brock from Littleton dug out an old email he sent to 9 News in 2001. He didn't like it when Invesco got the naming rights. And this is solid gold, 17 years later. Name it Mile High Stadium, he wrote to us. Nope, Glenn, that's still not going to happen. Highest bidder wins name for one season. If Quest has the highest bid for that year, it would be called Mile High Stadium, Quest Field. Remember Quest? Nah, let's not. And then 2001 Glenn goes all Nostradamus, writing, naming it Invesco Field at Mile High raises a question. What if Invesco goes out of business in 1 to 5 years or declares bankruptcy? It took 10 years. But we'll give Glenn credit. Since Invesco's successor, Sports Authority, they bit the dust 5 years after their name went up in lights.
This next storm system pushing through, already stirring up the winds around the mountains and into the foothills, tracking some 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. They'll only increase late tonight and continue through much of the day tomorrow too. So where is our storm? Oh, it's coming our way. We're going to be looking at that scattered snow arriving late tonight into tomorrow. In fact, it does look like some of the snow already pushing in across the Pacific Northwest. It arrives around 10, 11 o'clock and then continues overnight. Tomorrow morning, we wake up here in Denver. It's quiet, but look at the northeastern plains. A quick little burst of snow arrives for you along I-76 late in the morning, 11, noon. It won't last long. A quick inch and then it's out of here around 6 o'clock. Storm system moves out. You're well on your weekend, and so far it looks pretty good. If you're thinking about going to the mountains, trying to enjoy some of that fresh powder, about 4 to 8 inches for our northern and central mountains, with the winter weather advisories continuing until 5 o'clock tomorrow. Tomorrow we're at 50 degrees. The winds, though, really kicking up. Look for partly cloudy skies here in the Denver metro area. 40s, 50s along the eastern plains. Chilly in the 20s and 30s up in the mountains. A quick little cool off to get our weekend started. We'll be back to the mid-50s on Sunday. Then I'm still looking at that storm on Monday. It doesn't look too impressive. Kyle, a quick cool off and perhaps a little bit of light snowfall early in the morning.
Weather's broken, Danielle. The weather's broken this year. All right. Thank you much. So we're about to meet a Coloradan who is turning his childhood memories, and maybe yours too, into a business. And we will see how this program and your kindness ended up in a small town newspaper in Iowa. I fell in love for the first time at a roller rink. And the second time, the third time, the fourth, and the fifth time as well. But then, roller skating kind of fell out of fashion about when I was in junior high. I would bet that a lot of your memories were made going round and round with people you'll always remember. Bri Wilson remembers the people of Roller City West in Lakewood. That place has been closed for 20 years. till Bry got his hands on it.
Oh, this building, tons of history. It was constructed in the late 50s and ran as a skating rink from the late 50s up until 1996.
Yeah, we used to come here. We used to roller skate here all the time.
So many memories in this building. I can't imagine the number of people this place has housed and hosted over the years, and just all the memories made here. And we're really looking forward to bringing the next chapter of that back to the community.
Well, we're trying to get them open.
It's always been my dream to open a roller skating rink or to own one, and never in my wildest dreams did I think we'd get this one back, as this was my home rink as I was a kid, and I grew up here and worked for the folks that owned it at the time. The nostalgia factor is, through the roof. And these pieces actually came out of Funtastic Nathan's in the old Cinderella City Mall.
We've had so many people stopping in just the time we've been working here. There's always somebody at the door looking in.
We were passing by and I was like, Mom, look, that says Roller City.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that sign's new.
And she goes, Mom, look. She just, Mom, look. And just turned in, and I said, well, let's get out and see when they open.
My phone never stops ringing since we announced this on Facebook, and people come by daily just to check the place out and talk to us about the memories that they made in this building.
My great-grandchildren will have a chance to come here now and roller skate, and that is so exciting.
Thank you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad.
Our pleasure, and I think everybody's really looking forward to it, and a great deal of excitement.
Please do. I will.
That roller rink's supposed to open in the next month or two. Shout out to Jim Shaddles. Jim sent an email to next@9news.com last night, said, I think I have the perfect story for your show. Jim, we appreciate it. This program is powered by your ideas every single night. So keep them coming. Next@9news.com, or get our attention with the hashtag #HeyNext. May I make a recommendation? Point you towards something, anything that we didn't write ourselves, but we do think is worth your time? Your generosity was highlighted in a small-town newspaper in Iowa, the Bulletin Review in Denison and Crawford counties. That is the hometown of Doyle Larson. Remember Doyle? He's the next viewer whose jacket I wore on the air after his passing. Did so at the request of his wife, Connie. The American Brain Tumor Association tallied more than 70 donations in Doyle's name the night that we talked about him. No way of knowing how many more of you donated and just didn't see the little space for his name. Connie came in and drew amongst your notes to pick one of my jackets to go home with a few viewers who donated. Very kind of that paper in Iowa to give us a little bit of a write-up. It was a perplexing sign that made us laugh in the next office. That and your feedback when we return. Susan saw the sign. She won't say where because she works there. It's a hospital in Denver where the sign reads, "Stairwell closed for elevator repairs. Sorry for the inconvenience." Wait, what? The stairwell is closed so you could repair the elevator. All right, well, how in the world are we supposed to get upstairs? How does this work? I need more from the sign than that. Susan did too, so she sent it our way. If a sign makes you do a double take, email next@9news.com or get our attention with the hashtag #HeyNext. Your feedback closes the night. Some of you appreciated that we explained tonight how somebody who is eligible for DACA might become an American citizen. It is a long and convoluted process. Kristen says, thanks for addressing it tonight. There are so many people who don't understand how it works. Paul did not appreciate it. He said there are literally hundreds of thousands of them eligible to apply for citizenship. Yes, it is just as easy as that. Paul, I must have explained it incorrectly. It is not that easy. They are not eligible to apply until they get the adjustment in their status. That is the hang-up. I'll try to explain better next time.